All right, folks, this will be the last video for my channel for 2024. It is Sunday, December 29th. So this is a ride. This is the same ride that we did the weekend of Veterans Day weekend in November. This is day 2. I posted day 3 yesterday. And we decided to go out to Rabbit Valley. So we kind of did 3 rides. We did a kind of a Grand Junction desert ride, no particular order. Went and found some washes and stuff on day 1. Day 2 went over to Rabbit Valley. A while ago I posted the Rim Trail video that's been out there probably for a month or so, maybe more, and that was done just before this particular ride right here. So we got back to the trucks and gone out and did this ride. We're going to go out to Trail 8 at Rabbit Valley. Pretty popular riding area, right on the border of Utah and Colorado. As a matter of fact, most of the trails over there cross into Utah at some point. Trail 8 is really a great trail. We'll get there pretty soon. It's pretty easy to tell which trail it is. It's very sandy, up and down trail, a lot of G-outs. There were some pretty gnarly G-outs at the bottom of some of the hills. And we'll be traveling right alongside some really cool red rock formations and cliffs. So pretty easy to see. And again, this is a great ride. It's not a long loop. It's maybe a 10 or 12 mile loop max. And myself and my son-in-law in front of me there, Tom, we didn't go and do the full loop. We kind of did an abbreviated loop. And the other 2 guys out in front of me, John and Craig, they went in and attempted the longer loop. When you cross over to the longer loop, and you'll see where those guys we'll stop at the end of the video here, and there's another entrance into the second section, Trail 8. The problem with Trail 8 is there's a couple spots where you really got to kind of know where you're going, or you got to follow GPS or something, or you'll kind of get lost or turned around and folks don't know which way to go. It's a small section where you can get lost, but once you figure it out, it's pretty easy to follow the trail at that point. But both the guys up front, they got a little lost, so they got turned around, and they ended up coming back the way we did anyways. This first section here, this is not Trail 8. I believe we're on Trail 4. And it's got a couple rocky sections to go up and down. Oof. It's not hard.
Have to ride up that for Tom.
And Craig did ride the bike up for Tom. It's actually pretty easy, but when you're standing down there, as most folks who ride know, it looked a little more sketchy than it really was.
But no rocks are moving.
But overall, everybody had a great time. It was a great 3 days. Tom here, he's right in front of me. I mentioned in the other videos, this was his first time out there with my group guys out in Colorado, and he really did good. He borrowed a bike. He borrowed my buddy Craig's, I think that's a 2012 Husaberg 450. It's a really good bike, and he did really well with it, and had a good time. This part of the trail is, I wouldn't call it off camber, but it's a fairly narrow trail. Right here it's not as narrow at its narrowest point, but we do get into parts of this trail, this little single track here, that for real you do not want to go left. It would be kind of ugly. And so here Tom was taking a quick breather and asked me to go ahead of him. So I kind of fast forwarded. We're going into Trail 8 now. And again, this is a super fun trail. We weren't going very fast today. We were kind of relaxed ride, but if you like to rip, this trail you can rip for sure. One thing I want to remind folks of, in particular, my buddies that I ride with here in North Carolina, is unlike pretty much all of the North Carolina trails, which are one-way only, these are not. These are 2-way trails, so I really don't enjoy taking point and leading. I prefer somebody with a little more skill than me do that, but you really do have to be careful, and you have to pay attention for where you can't see. pretty good example is years ago, we've seen a couple head-ons and guys getting pretty jacked up by having some head-on collisions just because, either going too fast or not paying attention or whatever it might be. So remember, these are all two-way trails. If you go out west from North Carolina, guys, and you ride Colorado, Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, any of those places out there, will include Wyoming in that. They are all two-way trails. For the folks in Colorado, come out and visit us and come ride, and we'll show you a whole bunch of fun one-way trails, which is super nice. You don't have to worry about anybody coming at you. There had been a bit of moisture out here the days prior to us getting there. I don't know if Rabbit Valley actually got snow, but most of the area got some kind of dusting of snow, so the sand and the dirt had some moisture in it. It was pretty tacky. This trail can change very quickly. On this particular day, it was a lot of fun, a lot of traction and things like that. I've ridden it during warmer weather, in the May or June time frame, and it's really dusty, deep, thick sand. So you can have all kinds of different riding conditions on this trail depending on the time of year or when you ride it. I don't know how many people ride out here during the summer. It gets very, very hot. It'll get into the low 100s degrees out here, and there's no shade anywhere. So it can get pretty warm and pretty dry and dusty. The other thing you can see out here, and of course with any sand course or pretty much anything out in Colorado, we get a lot of whoops. And even back towards the Denver area, Rampart Range, you can ride through trails where you're just getting whooped to death. And so that's one of the key features. A lot of trails here, a good number of whoops, a good number of braking bumps, and it'll keep you awake. It'll wear you out a little bit, but not so bad. It wasn't so bad today. We've definitely ridden this trail much faster. I can recall times where we've just blazed through this trail. I don't think we've been out on this trail in a very long time. So, the typical normal thing, especially out in the desert, the trail can change dramatically one year to the next. So you do want to be a little bit careful, make sure that you understand what's going on in the trail, if there's been any changes. Sometimes part of the trail is missing or rerouted, or the G-outs get deeper, or whatever it might be. So we're just trying to be a little bit careful here and make sure nobody gets hurt. In this one there, about dead in the middle of the screen, you can see Tom coming. He's doing a good job. I just stopped to let John go in front of me so I could hang with Tom for a bit and make sure he's not riding totally alone. This last part of this particular section is super fun. It's a really flowy section. Normally we definitely rip through this, and we're really taking our time today. I kind of wanted to pass John because I really wanted to rip through this, but like I said, we were all in agreement we were just going to have nice easy trail ride days on this particular trip, and we weren't going to bang bars or anything like that. So a few little rock outcroppings here and there on this part of the trail. You see Tom come up the rear there, and there he is. And but it is a super fun part of the trail, and you can get going really, really well. Like I said, it's got a lot of flow to it. There's no parts of it where you have to worry about anything too gnarly or super tight turns or something that's going to surprise you. It's not. You can get going pretty good on this trail, or at least on this part of the trail. You see the red rock out in front of us. That's all a very porous sandstone type rock, and it's very cool to look at. And in other parts of the area, out in Utah and stuff like that, John just took out a bush or a cactus or something. Good job, John. What I was saying about that rock, though, I mean, there's parts of it you could just literally ride right up it. It works almost like sandpaper. Your tires will just stick to it. It's pretty amazing. If any of you folks been out to Moab, you've experienced that, or out to the Whitewash area in Utah where you can ride like Mary's Trail and things like that, you'll experience the same things. Very much so with places like 5 Miles of Hell, Orange Trail out in the Swell. We're coming to the end here, and this is where Tom and I are going to head back. These guys are going to enter the trail and go. I'd just like to thank everybody for watching all my videos this year, and have a great 2025.
I was going to give you one of these.